Good morning and welcome to Simplicity Made Simple, episode 9. I'm so glad to have you here. Please let me know when you jump on, whether you're live or watching the replay. Just say hi and feel free to leave comments and questions. I always love circling back to chat with you about those. Thanks for this opportunity. Special thanks to Pastor B. Cassandra for giving me this chance to have this show. It's been so much fun. And today I want to talk to you guys about simplifying your social media strategy because it can be really easy to feel overwhelmed with posting all over the place, especially on Facebook. It's really easy to get involved in a whole bunch of groups because they're fun and they're exciting, and we think that engaging in more groups helps us engage with more people, widening our audience, giving us more leads for our business, and giving us greater visibility and engagement. And that's only true to an extent, because if we're trying to be actively engaged in, let's say, 12 groups, we can only spend a limited amount of time in those groups, right? Because we all only have a limited amount of time for our social media engagement as a whole. And if we're dividing that time between 12 groups, each group is going to get only a small amount of our time. And so the smarter, simpler way is to, one, engage in fewer places like groups. Engage in fewer groups. It's better to engage in 3 to 5 than it is to engage in 10 to 12, because you can put more of your time and energy, more relational connections and effort into those 3 to 5 groups and actually develop stronger, more productive, deeper connections and get more valuable leads from those few groups because you're investing more deeply and authentically and relationally than if you're trying to pop into 10 to 12 groups and getting burned out and not feeling like you're able to invest in those groups as fully as you want to be. So tip number 1 is to invest in fewer places. And while we're talking about that, make sure that your priority is connection and developing those relationships. It's not popping into those groups just to post your own content, just to promote your own business, just to share your resources and try to get people to your Facebook page or your Facebook group or your website or anything like that. It's building that connection first, because people connect with people, not businesses. So make sure they know who you are. Make sure they understand that you care about them and you want to provide value to them. So keep that in mind. And then tip number 2 is to create some sort of schedule or pattern for how you engage. Now, I like to set reminders so that on certain days, I engage in certain groups in specific ways. There are a lot of groups that have promo days on certain days, and so I make a note of those days so that I get alerts on Wednesday to post in specific groups for their promo day so that I don't miss it. On Thursday to post in other groups for their promo day so that I don't miss it. But then I go in on other days and post bits of my story, or I ask a question, or I put out a poll to engage with people in those groups. I'm not only engaging on promo days. Remember, it's about the connection, but it is really helpful to have that established schedule. And that way you're showing up consistently and you're increasing that reach and that engagement with less effort. Because if you make a routine out of it, you don't have to go through the mental work of thinking, how do I increase my engagement? How do I show up more often? How do I show up consistently? How do I actually make friends in this group and make connections and network with people? So having that kind of schedule and plan is really helpful for that, and it takes away a lot of that stress. And then number 3, it takes that even further by using scheduling apps so that you don't always have to be engaging manually. Now, of course, these apps only work for specific things. There are apps like Buffer that I love that you can use for your Instagram scheduling. There are groups like Tailwind that you can use for Pinterest scheduling, and I'm a huge fan of that. And there are ways that you can schedule content for your own Facebook business page by scheduling things out in advance, which is super helpful. And you can do that for your own groups, the ones that you run as well. And you can batch create content that way and schedule it out in advance so that you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to be tied to your content calendar. And it is super helpful. You guys, it saves so much time, so much energy and it removes so much of that stress. So, if you have a pattern for how you engage manually in other people's groups with things that are real time and authentic, creating those relationships, and then you have other things that are scheduled that are running on autopilot, you can show up more consistently and authentically. You can be free from the chains that can bind you to your editorial calendar and your content calendar. You can get more done in less time. You can have more time freed up to actually engage with your audience, to actually serve your clients, to get leads for new clients, and to spend time offline with your own people in real life. And that's what I want for you. I want you to have more time to do what you love. And so that's why I'm sharing tips like these that help you maximize your reach and your engagement and build those valuable connections with less stress and less time and effort so that you can invest in what really matters to you. And so I hope those tips are valuable to you today. If you have any comments or questions about them, again, please leave them in the comments. I will make sure to circle back. And if you want to talk any further about ways that you can be more productive or ways that you can leverage your time or just engage with people in a more authentic way, I would love to talk to you about that too. You can always leave a comment or direct message me and I will follow up with you. But that is it for today. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day and I will talk to you again soon. Bye.